Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of B-Flicks. My name is Gavin and with me as always, the movie nitpicker himself, Neville.
Today we're reviewing a movie that should have never been made. It was plagued with lots of production problems and reshoots.
Yeah, originally the title was Smokey and the Bandit 3, Smokey is the Bandit.
The first Smokey and the Bandit movie did really well and was only beat by Star Wars for gross earnings.
And judging by the opening of Smokey and the Bandit 3, you can tell someone was jealous.
Yeah, but since the first two did well, they wanted to milk it for all it was worth. Unfortunately, Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Jerry Reed all declined to return for a third film.
But Jackie Gleason was all in. Some numbnut came up with the idea to have Jackie Gleason play both the Sheriff Justice and the Bandit.
A whole group of adults all discussed this horrible idea and worked to make it happen. Apparently, no one spoke up, or no one could convince the studio that this was a bad idea.
Then they did test screenings and everyone hated it. People were confused by the fact that Jackie Gleason was playing both roles.
So, realizing they had a turd on their hands, the only thing they could come up with to do was to cast Jerry Reed as the Bandit.
Yeah, they just had the Eunices say that the Bandit has a big ego, and they called Cletus instead. So they got Jerry Reed and did reshoots to insert him into the existing film.
And the result was one of the worst edited films of all time. There are so many editing and continuity problems.
So the film starts with Buford T. Justice at his retirement ceremony when the Eunices show up and challenge him.
Thanks, but no thanks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this very moment, I proclaim myself retired.
But he turns him down, and then a fart gag. Unfortunately, it's all downhill from here.
We're treated to a lame montage of Buford's experiences after retirement.
They let it keep the patrol car?
Well, yeah. It's just one of many scenes that make it seem like a kid wrote the script, mailed it in, and they just went with it.
So, of course, Buford is miserable and decides to accept their challenge.
They tell Buford they want him to deliver a stupid shark to a restaurant they're opening. Of course, their goal is to humiliate Buford.
These guys must have had more money than they knew what to do with. Did they not have hookers and blow back then?
Well, yeah, they did have hookers and blow, but if the Eunices were satisfied with hookers and drugs, none of the Bandit films would have been made. The Bandit would be racing trucks, and we know what the Snowman would be doing.
I've got to go in the morning to Kanye's and pick up a load of manure.
Sounds like a shitty job.
Sheriff Justice and Junior start their journey. After a few hours of traveling, Junior directs Sheriff Justice to make a left turn. But wouldn't you know it, the Eunices have paid a crowd to stand in the street and slow them down.
How did the Eunices know that they were going to turn down this road?
Because it was written in the script.
A few minutes later...
What's the matter, Daddy?
Gas.
Must be that pizza you had for lunch.
Not my belly, the tank.
Yep, another fart joke.
I'm telling you, this script was written by 8-year-olds.
Around the 18-minute mark, we get the first ridiculous car jump. What the hell did they jump? There was no ramp. There wasn't even a dirt mound nearby. At least in the first two films, they usually made the jumps make sense.
When their attempts to thwart Buford fail, they decide to call in reinforcements.
I'm gonna be the bandit. I'm gonna put on my bandit clothes. I'm gonna be the bandit. I'm gonna be the bandit.
Cletus is so excited that he gets to be the bandit. It's embarrassing. This scene is an insult to the Snowman character, and it should also be embarrassing to Jerry Reed. And why did he run over the doghouse?
It's also ridiculous that he already had the car and the bandit costume. I mean, was this guy cosplaying as his best friend on the weekend? Who does something like that?
Seriously?
What?
Don't tell me you don't remember.
Remember what? I get to nitpick the movies. I get to nitpick the movies.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
So then we're treated to a scene where the KKK is harassing two black guys. You know, because racism is comedy gold, right?
The passenger tells the driver to pull over, but why would you pull over? They're trying to assault you. Of course, this whole scene is just set up for another stupid racial joke.
You ever join the Klan, Daddy?
No chance. But your mama did. When she put on her sheet, she looked like an iceberg with feet.
Then we go back to Cletus telling his dog that he can't tag along, since the bandit didn't have a dog with him. To make it up to him, he brings out a female dog to keep him company.
Again, this sounds like something an 8-year-old would write.
Maybe you're onto something here.
So, with his dog, Fred, satisfied, he is on his way.
Is there a ramp in his garage? Why is he doing donuts and trenching his own front yard? For the next several minutes, there's nothing but random stunts for no reason. He's flying through the air when there's no ramps. He nearly runs some person off the road. He's doing donuts for no reason. Is he supposed to be in a hurry to catch up to Buford? Why is he goofing off so much? Then there's this scene where they flip the footage and it looks like he's in a European version of the car. What the hell is going on here?
There you go, buddy. You're back on your nitpicking game.
Oh, I'm just getting started. The ridiculous intro for the new Bandit ends with him hiding from cops. Were they even chasing him? Then he breaks the fourth wall.
They never learn.
There was the subtle scene like this in the first movie, but at least he was being chased and he didn't talk to the camera.
Is it breaking the fourth wall if the scene takes place outside?
Well, I don't know.
Moving right along, after the bandit is finished goofing off, he's driving down the road and a disgruntled woman filming a commercial for a sleazy car dealership jumps out in front of his car and then she just hops into his passenger seat.
Why did he tell her to get out?
Probably because the real bandit picked up a woman, so he felt he had to.
A few minutes later, she decides to get changed.
Where have I seen this before? Where did she get the outfit? When she got in the car, all she had was a small bag. Did she just carry this outfit with her, just in case she had to jump in a stranger's car in the middle of a commercial shoot?
After she gets changed, the bandit decides to hide under a truck's trailer. The trailer is ridiculously high, and this doesn't even make sense. Wouldn't it have been better to hide behind the truck instead of under it? Buford and Junior literally drive right beside them, and they don't notice a Trans Am under a truck trailer. Also, this scene takes place on the exact same runway or racetrack from earlier. You can see the same bridge off in the distance.
Well, this is what happens when you try to slap together a bunch of disjointed shots to try and save a movie that should have just been shelved when it didn't work out.
So the bandit emerges from under the truck and has what's-her-name take the wheel so he can lasso the shark. Was the shark not tied down? It just comes right off when he lassos it.
And then Buford tells Junior they're in hot pursuit, but they're going about 45 miles an hour. At least in the first two movies, the chases seem to be done at high speed.
Buford chases the bandit past another cop and he joins the pursuit. And then we get the first decent stunt that actually makes sense. Buford swerves to miss a broken down car on the side of the road, and the other cop hits the car and goes tumbling down the road.
This stunt was pretty cool, but check out the owner of the car.
Far out.
This guy sure is happy and excited to see his car get destroyed.
They continue into some sort of construction area. There's lots of machinery and sand. Actually, what was this place?
I don't know. A sand factory?
A sand factory. Well, whatever it was, there was actually another decent stunt here, so I'm glad they kept it in. They actually stopped Buford's car by dumping sand on it. Judging by the rest of this movie, you would expect them to stop the car and then dump the sand. But they literally stopped the car with the sand. Everyone else was half-assing it, but at least this day the stunt team was doing their job.
The bad thing about this scene is how it ends. The lady's laugh makes me want to shove ice picks into my ears.
Time to play Spot the Editing Mistake. The shark goes from the hood of the car to the rear, and then back to the hood.
What's-her-name says she's hungry, so they stop at a biker bar for some burgers. In the first movie, there's a fight scene with Cletus, but he gets his ass kicked, and you kind of feel sympathetic for him. He was a likable character. In this movie, and especially this scene, he just comes off as a braggart and a jerk.
Nice looking set of wheels. How you doing, my man? Yeah. Question's too hard, I guess.
Also, immediately after throwing these guys out, he walks out with the food. When did he get a chance to place his order?
We're treated to another boring series of pointless and cliche stunts.
Yeah, they smashed through a pallet of eggs and even a flower stand. I'm surprised they didn't have two guys walk out with a big pane of glass for them to smash through.
After this pointless chase, the bandit goes down an alley and Buford gets blocked by a truck.
And then more stupidity. Buford gets out and tries to help direct the truck backward down the alley. Wouldn't it have been better to have him move forward so they could get through faster?
That would make too much sense, and we wouldn't get this next moronic scene. I know I'm starting to get repetitive, but I'm telling you, someone's kid wrote this script.
When Buford turns around, there's a traffic cop who has his car attached to a tow truck. How did they get here and attach his car so fast? And why would she tow a sheriff's car? Especially one with the lights on, with the sheriff standing right there.
8-year-olds, dude.
Buford manages to break free, and then the truck driver chases him, because that makes sense.
8-year-olds.
The tow truck crashes, and check this out. Clearly it's a dummy, but Junior would totally be dead. We see the dummy fall toward the ground, but somehow he ends up in a tree.
This is the best thing the 8-year-olds can come up with. In the next scene, we see a stunt show. Oh, I wonder what'll happen. Of course, the Bandit and Buford drive right into the action, and more pointless, nonsensical stunts ensue.
You know what bugs me about this scene? Let's say the Bandit sees that there's a stunt show and drives into it to try to shake off Buford. I'll give them that. But how did the announcer know who these people are?
Wait a minute, folks. I think we've got a surprise visitor. Yes, we've got the Bandit making a guest appearance here. Yes, it is Buford T. Justice and Hudson.
Even if the Bandit was famous and everyone knew about the story of the Bandit and Buford T. Justice from the news or whatever, why would they immediately assume that this was the Bandit and Buford? For one, the Bandit is a different guy, driving a different car, and even Buford's car is different.
Because the script was written by 8-year-olds.
I'm starting to believe you.
The Bandit gets away, and they decide to stop for the night at a sleazy motel. While what's-her-name is getting tidied up, Cletus gets freaky with the shark. I mean, really, what's this guy doing?
Why doesn't he just lay it on the floor, prop it against the wall? And then what's-her-name comes out and decides to put the shark outside the room in the hall. The whole point of this entire trip is to get the shark to the Enos's, and she just leaves it outside. There was plenty of room inside. Why would she do this? Not much later, Buford sees the Bandit's car outside and goes in to find him. Turns out this was a hotel for nymphomaniacs. This whole scenario was just to throw some tits in the movie so little boys would want to watch it.
Written by 8-year-olds, for 8-year-olds.
I wonder if this was the intent all along, or if they just put crap like this in the movie because they knew they had a flop.
It was the 80s, man. It was very common practice to just put some tits in your film if it had nothing else going for it. You'll notice in a lot of 80s films, more shit was often accompanied by more tits.
Buford finds the shark and he thinks he spotted the Bandit in a sauna. He goes in and cuffs himself to the person in the sauna and then drags him out, only to find out it was some woman. Junior tells him the keys to the cuffs are in the car, but they say they can't get out because they're blocked by a bunch of kink freaks. But there was a hall right there. They just came that way minutes earlier.
So they decide to go out through the bathroom window, and the humiliation of the once great Jackie Gleason is complete.
They get to the car and for some reason Junior tries to put the shark in the front seat with him. Couldn't they put it in the back or tie it to the roof like they did before?
I'm sure the 8-year-olds were rolling on the floor when they came up with this crap.
So after Buford gets underway, the Enos's shoot out one of Buford's tires with a blow dart. Man, this is stupid. Then the Bandit sees the car on the side of the road. He parks in the woods near the car and snatches the shark. When Buford sees the shark is gone, he admits defeat, and the Bandit overhears his conversation with Junior.
Listen. I'm seeing that it's time to pee under fire, call in the dogs, turn off my siren, switch off my lights, and return to my old rocking chair.
The 8-year-olds have learned foreshadowing.
The lady from earlier jumps out of the trunk like it's a cake at a bachelor party as the Bandit comes out of the woods and takes off down the road.
Okay, so we have a challenge for the viewers. What do you think Sheriff Justice really said here before they redubbed his line?
What about me?
I am interested in pursuit.
Not party time.
Sheriff Justice takes off after the Bandit with 2 flat tires that are now miraculously fine. I get that they had to continue the pursuit or the movie would be over, but couldn't they have shot a 5-second scene of the sheriff finishing the tire swap?
The Bandit turns down a dirt road to avoid hitting some cows, and then we get a lame, but sadly the funniest line in the whole film.
Daddy, look at all the cattle. What if we hit one?
He gets to be a Big Mac ahead of all the others.
They continue down the road only to find that it dead ends at a nudist camp. The Bandit for some reason leaves the car and the shark and just takes off in a boat.
Why did you just leave the shark? Wouldn't this be the perfect opportunity for Buford to grab it? For some reason, he's more interested in catching the Bandit than winning the challenge, so he jumps in some guy's boat and makes him chase after the Bandit.
After a lame chase, they get back to the camp and the Bandit hops back in his car. Buford tells the boat driver to do what the Bandit did, but he warns him that his boat can't do that. He tells him to do it anyway and goes flying through the air and lands in the middle of a nudist picnic.
Oof. I ain't seen anything like that since I was a little baby.
Then in the next scene, the Enos's have set up an elaborate trap. How do they have time to go and get the granddaughter and set up all of these explosives? And how do they manage to keep getting ahead of the Bandit and Buford? You might think they've been flying to stay ahead, but you can clearly see the same car they started with. They've been driving and managing to get ahead in time to set up all of these elaborate diversions. And now, it seems like they're literally trying to kill Buford.
Fortunately, Buford miraculously makes it through this, so the Enos's didn't make their granddaughter commit murder. Buford takes off after the Bandit what's left of his car, and the Bandit goes full-on Joker.
What good would the Roadrunner be without the coyote, huh? What good would the fox be without the hound, right?
And can you have a Bandit if you ain't got a Smokey?
So, he would rather be nice to Buford than to win $250,000?
So wrote the 8-year-olds, man. Buford sees the bandit and approaches the car. The bandit tries to take off, but the car won't start.
Maybe he wouldn't be having car trouble if he didn't do so many pointless stunts.
Throughout the entire movie, he was referring to himself as the bandit. Truckers called him the bandit. The guy at the stunt show called him the bandit. But now he's saying that the only person that thinks he's the bandit is Buford.
Justin, I'm not the Bandit. The Bandit is the Bandit. The only man in the world that thinks I'm the Bandit.
So he comes up with a stupid plan to try and convince Buford that he's actually the bandit. Maybe if he let him know that he's not the bandit, he would just let him go.
Yeah, what's the point of convincing him that he's actually the same guy he's been chasing for years? Instead of just going to jail for any crimes he committed this time, he can actually get charged with all the crap that the real bandit did over the years. It just seems kind of pointless and counterproductive.
When Buford gets to the car, for some reason he sees the original bandit played by Burt Reynolds, and he's convinced to let him have a 5-minute head start after Buford remembers how horrible retirement is.
I'll give you a 5-minute head start.
Now, with no trouble at all, the car starts right up. As the bandit takes off, his car bounces and makes a weird cartoon sound. Junior was laying on the ground in front of the car trying to stop him. The bandit just ran over him and he's perfectly fine.
8-year-olds, dude.
The credits rolled with Buford in pursuit and Junior running after him, leaving a trail of money behind him. And thus ends the trilogy of the Bandit. A franchise that got off to a pretty good start, got a little silly, and then...
Wherefore retard.
If you enjoyed our review, please take a second to give us a thumbs up.
And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll be notified when we upload.
Until next time,
We're the Cinegeeks!
So the film starts with Buford T. Justice at his retirement ceremony when the Enuses? So the film starts with Buford T. Justice. It's just an awful name.
You don't like the name Enos?
It's bad. I'm trying my best not to say anus.